what is your idea of who an herbalist is, and what does an herbalist do?
Yeah, like sort of, I don't know if it's your mission statement, but like your mission statement, there's, very many different types of herbalists and different ways that herbalists manifest their lifestyle and career, as unique as each individual. So yeah, you could be a clinical herbalist, you could be a traditional herbalist, you could be a community herbalist, you could be a medicine maker, a grower, a botanist, not to mention all the other sort of branches of herbalism like aromatherapy and flower essences, plant spirit medicine. So I feel like my definition of an herbalist is someone who lives in relationship with plants. And which sort of reminds me of James Green, also one of my go-to authors, herbal authors. He talks about honeybees being the world's premier herbalists. And I'm also a beekeeper, and I like to infuse, I consider honey a medicinal herb and like to utilize the alchemy of honey with plants. But, they have this symbiotic relationship with plants, right? Honeybees, obviously, they coexist together and they nurture each other and they benefit each other. And so I feel like that's what an herbalist does as well. They cohabitate, appreciate, utilize, and serve plants, really. So, sometimes I feel like my days and weeks and months in life are sort of dictated by the needs of plants or at least my projection of what plants need, right? So I go out and I think this plant needs to be watered, or this plant needs to be pruned, or this plant needs to be talked to or made into medicine. And maybe it doesn't need any of that, and I'm just but yeah, I like to think that I'm helping them and we're helping each other. It's a symbiotic relationship. So I feel like that is the general idea of what an herbalist does. If you're wanting, a more, a less esoteric maybe answer, yeah.
Just your, your take on it. That's, there's no right or wrong answer. That's a lovely description of what an herbalist is and what an herbalist does. I mean, I keep, I only have like 3 plants on my porch because that's all I can take care of. I'm like, I don't want to, have more plants and then not be able to take care of them. And then this lady girl, she moved out downstairs. I've got 4 apartments in my little building, and she left this big plant on the porch, and it's this lovely, I don't actually know what kind of plant it is, and it looks kind of like it could be a tropical plant, but it's a vine and it's growing up, and I'm like, who's watering this plant? So I'm like watering it. I'm like, I cannot, I'm making sure that I was like, I don't think anyone's watering. All right, we'll just water it. And
they're dictating your day.
I started taking over the care of this plant. Yeah. I can't. So what you said definitely makes sense to me, and I resonates with me, and I think that.
And that's a good point you bring up too. Is you don't necessarily need to have a bunch of land with a bunch of plants to be in that relationship.
That's true
as well. A few porch plants or potted plants are great. And also, if you have access to, going on hikes or even just, parks or even just little side vacant lots, you've got lines coming up and, in the winter, you have pine trees everywhere. And so there are, plants everywhere that you can connect with and create relationships with, really, wherever you are.
Definitely. I mean, I'm in, I'm close to downtown Asheville, and literally everyone's yard is overflowing with echinacea and yarrow, and there's mugwort sort of randomly, and just little pops of goldenrod, and just lemon balm, and mullein, and rosemary, and
Awesome. Yeah.
just growing, in people's gardens. And I'm surprised at the amount of maybe it's because of Asheville, and we love plants more than we love grass. We'll have that manicured lawn, but and you can tell, like, people who know what plant it is, because this house by me, they had this comfrey, just a whole bunch of it growing under their trees in the front yard, and they mowed them down and mulched them over, and I'm like, okay, they don't know what that is. And then there's another house down the road, and there's a whole big patch of it just there, close to their garden. So it's just but yeah, there's plants everywhere, which is cool. So they're words. It's sort of like they make it easy,
yes,
for us to notice them, and then to us to engage with them. So they're just like, we're here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Pay attention, whether you're like, in the city or in the country. It's just really cool. So yeah. Heather says from the chat, herbal lushness.
Right.
So yes, that's a good favorite aspect about being an herbalist.
I think sort of what you just described, is that I think the empowerment and the comfort that comes with knowing that plants are everywhere, and plants are